Hello, dear students. Today I am going to explain you chapter number 8, Horsing Around. First of all, let us understand the meaning of horsing around. It is a proverb that means behave in a silly manner or sometimes in a noisy way. So, the title meaning is that sometimes a person behaved in a silly manner or in a noisy way. So, let us start with the chapter reading. I was 17 and I was walking under the arc of the veterinary college into Montrose Street. I had been a student for 3 days, but it was only now that I felt that I was learning something. Studying botany and zoology was all right, but this afternoon had been the real thing. I had just completed my first class in animal husbandry. In this paragraph, it is given that the age of the person is 17 and he was walking under the arc of the veterinary college. What do you mean by veterinary college? It means a college where people learn to become animal doctor, and he was walking under the arc into Montrose Street, and he had been a student for 3 days, but now it was like now that I felt like and he felt like that he was learning something. Studying botany and zoology was all right, but this afternoon had been the real thing. And what the real thing is, I had just completed my first class in animal husbandry. And animal husbandry, what is that? The science of caring for farm animals. So he just completed first class in the animal husbandry. The subject had been horses. Now the class is like the topic is of horses. Professor Grant had hung up a life-size picture of a horse and gone over it from nose to tail. Now Professor Grant explained all the things regarding horse from the nose to tail, and he hung a life-size picture of a horse and explained fully. He had taught us about the withers, the stifle, the hawk, the pole, and all the other wonderful horse related terms. Also, Professor Grant understand or taught us all these items. Let us also know these. What are these? Here it is given that withers. So withers here it is. So this is the part that is withers. Then the number is stifle. So here it is stifle, and then hawk. Hawk is like the hawk is there, and then the pole. Hawk is here, and then the pole. So these are all the parts, and Professor Grant taught all these things very properly. The words were still spinning in my head as I walked slowly down the street, because professor taught all the things and all the words just keep coming in the mind when I just down the street slowly walk down the street. This was what I had come for. I felt as though I really knew about horses now. And now after this class I just came to know that I absolutely know everything regarding the horses. And by thinking this, I was whistling. Whistling means create a sound as I turned the corner of the hill into busy Newton Road. And I just take a turn from the hill to into a busy Newton Road. That is a place. And then I saw it. What? What he saw? A horse. He saw a horse. It was standing between the shafts of a coal cart. I could hardly believe my luck. And suddenly he saw a horse, and it was standing between the shafts of a coal cart. That means the two wooden poles in front of a cart that carries coal. The horse stand between them and is tied to them. We can see also in the picture that here that is the shafts of a coal cart. And after by seeing this and a horse in a present way, it's like I could hardly believe my luck. A horse, not just a picture but a real horse. Words from Professor Grant's class floated up into my mind. I stood on the pavement and looked at the animal critically. I thought it must be obvious to every passerby that I was a true expert. Now, what is that? Like a horse, not just a picture, but a real horse. And by seeing the real horse, the words from Professor Grant just come up in my mind, and I stood on the pavement. What is meaning by pavement? Pavement means a hard flat area or the side of the road for people to walk on. So he stood on the pavement and looked at the animal critically means looked in a way that something just thinking about the good or the bad aspects of something. So just look at the horse critically, and I thought it must be obvious to every passerby that I was a true expert, and I'm looking like that. So it is obvious to every passerby. It means if every person just go from there, so or she understand that he must be a true expert of that horse. So that's why he's just critically thinking or just seeing the horse very properly. I took a few steps up and down, eyes looking for possible problems. I glanced around at the people hurrying past. Nobody seemed to care, not even the horse. He was a large one, and he gazed down the street, moving his hind leg alternatively in a boat manner. Now, what is this? That I took a few steps up and down and eyes looking for possible problems. It means he just minutely just watch the horse and just take a doing a movement, and the people are there hurrying past. Nobody literally care about even a horse also. But why he's just taking interest? Because he just attended class related to the topic of horse, and he was a large one. A large horse is there, and he gazed down the street and moving his hind leg, that is the backside leg, alternatively. Then I hated to leave him, but I had completed my examination and it was a time as I was on my way. And he just hate to leave him because already he completed the examination. He just want to know more about that. But I felt that I should do something before I left, something to tell the horse that I understood his problems. And now he think that I have to talk with that and I have to tell the horse that I totally understand your problems, how you just carry all the loads and just grip the rope around his body and this kind of. So I understand your problem. I stepped briskly, so I stepped quickly forward and patted him on the neck and just patted him on the neck. Quick as a streaking snake, a moving snake, the horse moved downwards and seized my shoulder in his great strong teeth. I just petted him as a neck. The horse moved downwards and seized my shoulder into his great teeth. He laid back his ears, rolled his eyes wickedly or the very dangerously, and pulled me up almost half my feet. My like from the teeth, he just pulled me up and almost half of my feet. I hung there helplessly, suspended like a puppet or hung like a puppet. I wriggled. Wriggle means I just tried to move the body and kicked, so I just dropped down on the floor. But no, a horse just tied me up very sharply, but the teeth were clamped immovably in the material of my coat, and he just pulled me with the material of my coat or held tightly without letting go, kind of a horse do when he just patted him on the neck. There was no doubt about the interest of the passers-by now. Now, before passers-by are not taking any kind of interest, but now suddenly when this thing happened, now all the passers-by or the going through persons just take an interest in this situation. The sight of a man hanging from a horse mouth brought them to a sudden halt, and every person just stopped there and just see the whole scenario. A crowd formed with the people looking over each other's shoulders and others fighting at the back to see what was going on, and all are just keep continuously looking over each other shoulder, or the others are just talking about that what happened, what was going on. A horrified old lady was crying, "Oh, poor boy, help him, somebody help him." And then suddenly, a old lady was crying and said, oh, poor dear boy, someone help him, please." Some of the braver characters tried pulling at me. Then suddenly, some of the men who are the brave characters or the strong man tried to pull at me, but the horse just hung on tighter. With deep shame, I saw two pretty girls in the front row giggling helplessly, and I also saw that there are two girls who just mock me or just laugh at me. I began to thrash about widely. Now, at last, I began to thrash. It's like, now what to do? My shirt collar tightened round my throat, and a stream of the horse saliva trickled down the front of my shirt. I could feel myself choking, and I was giving up hope when a man pushed his way through the crowd, and he was a very small. Angry eyes glared from a face blackened by coal dust, and I just doing all the things. Suddenly a man come, and he was very small with the angry eyes and a face blackened by coal dust. And then he said, "What's this?" he shouted. A dozen replies babbled in the air, and he just said, "What's this?" and then continuously keep uh, just saying in a rude way, or just continuously talked quickly in a excited and a foolish way. Then he said, can you no leave the horse alone?" That it means that he yelled on the face, or he just shouted into my face and said, "Can you please leave the horse alone?" I made no reply because half choked and in no mood for conversation, because already that person is that because the horse tied up properly, and his throat is choked, and he can't talk about that or not say, even reply that, and also in no mood for conversation. Then the coal man turned to the horse. "Drop him, yeah, big lug. Go on, let go, drop him." Then the coal man turned to the horse, said to the horse, "Drop him, you big lug." Or lug means a rude, we can say a rude way of referring to a big animal. So he said, "Go on, let go that person, drop him." Getting no response, he poked the animal in the belly with his thumb. Then, still the horse not to just leave that person, so he poked the animal in the belly with his thumb. The horse released me at once, like an obedient dog dropping a bone. I fell on my knees and lay in the gutter for a while till I could breathe more easily. As from a great distance, I could still hear the little man shouting at him. When I just drop on the floor and still on the road, still the little man shouting at me and keep continually saying something, but I didn't understand it because I'm just could breathe more easily. After some time, I stood up. The coalman was still shouting, and the crowd was listening appreciatively. "With the think you are playing at, keep your hands off my horse, get the police to you." Now, after some time, then when I just stood up, and the cool man still shouting, and the crowd all was listening in a enjoyment manner, on it is like a movie or something, and it just create interest on them. So all the crowd was listening this thing, and then he said that, "With please think you are playing at, this is a thing of playing of thing, keep your hands off from my horse and get the work whatever you have to do. I felt it I must escape and begin to push my way through the crowd. Some of the faces were concerned, but most were grinning. And then I saw in the crowd, then some of the faces are really care about me, but most of the are just laugh at me or smile widely. Once clear, I started to walk away rapidly, and as I turned the corner, the last faint shout from the callman reached me. And when I already started to walk away from there, but still the shotman or the coalman still shout at me, and the last line which reached me and I listen about that, that is, Dina meddle with things ye can nothing about. And what that means? Don't meddle with things that you know nothing about. It means, please, if you don't the horse or this thing, please don't create a scene like that, and please just be take a distance from the animals or this thing. This chapter is written by James Herriot, and his the pen name or the short name or the nickname is James Alfred Wright. That he is a British veterinary surgeon and a writer, and he also known as for a series of books he wrote about his life as a vet. He also a vet. The vet means that is a veterinary doctor in the hills of Yorkshire. And some of the most famous are all creatures, great and small, and every living thing. Those who know Harriet best said that he kept a book where he recorded the details of his treatment of animals, because already a British veterinary surgeon and a writer, and he all mostly write regarding the animals because he also live his life as a vet. So that is the chapter that is horsing around. Thank you.